So I want to maybe address like another dimension, which is the client side versus server side. Because today we mostly talk about server side proof acceleration. And when you think about like, ZK and the promise of privacy, so you actually want to go to the client side. And it can also be surprising. Like, as a matter of fact, the way I'm thinking about it is how we can simplify ZK or find use cases for ZK that are like extremely simplified so that you can see immediate value in, core of acceleration. Like, to give an example, when you compare a ZK rollup to a ZK VM, so a ZK VM is being built like when it's a prover-centric, like you build a prover, and then around it you build, you can build whatever you want, like it can be a gaming application, right? But when you build a ZK rollup, so it's more of like Ethereum-centric, and you have like a lot of constraints to your system, and prover is one of them, right? So when in my letter of like simplification, ZK VM is like a simplified problem for acceleration. And going client side, I think also makes sense to talk about indeed other technologies, but yeah, I mean, just to give you like some alpha, one example that one of my team teammates came up with. So imagine this like TV, this CCTV kind of like cameras, and that are programmed, or this IoT device that is like programmed to give you like to trigger when there's like an event. And what do you do with all of the time that is like dead, right? Like, what do you do with these times? So it's either go to some cloud for storage, which costs a lot of money, or you need to do some kind of computation to kind of like, whatever. So if you can take these dead times and run a ZK proof to compress it into one single small proof, you can basically save, like, there is an economical value to that, right? Like, imagine this, like, it's one company, like a cameras company, IoT company, and you bring them value using ZK, which is like you save them money. So for them, it makes a ton of sense. And therefore, you need to run it client side, right? So I think that in the problem space, we do need to look for simplifications. Definitely, we need to address the main problems that we have in the space. So we shouldn't ignore ZK rollups. That's not what I'm saying. On the opposite, but we also, if we want to expand and we want to think where else, like provers and prover acceleration makes sense, we need to kind of like simplify as much as we can and look for use cases.